The Last Line in the Notebook, a psychological horror story, X unexpected ending. The beginning. I was in an old bookstore downtown, searching for rare books for a university project. A small black notebook caught my eye. It looked ancient and worn out, with a sentence written on the cover in red pen. "Read, but don't finish it." I laughed and said, "Well, that's some cheap marketing." And I bought it for only £5. The weirdness begins. From the very first page, I found incredibly strange stories. Each page told of a person who died in a terrifying way. But what really caught my attention was that the stories were written in present tense, like they were happening now. One example, Ahmed is reading the story in his room. The floor above shakes as if someone's running, but he lives on the top floor. And yes, I actually live on the top floor. I thought it was a coincidence, but every time I read a new page, something similar happened around me. The warning. In the middle of the notebook, I found a page that said, "If you turn the next page, the story will be about you." I panicked. I said, "That's it, I'm closing the book," but curiosity got the better of me. I turned the page, and the first line read, "Ahmed is sitting now reading the notebook, hesitating to continue, but it's already too late." The real horror begins. Everything around me started to change. The mirror in the room began to fog up. The lights flickered, then cut off, then came back. I heard footsteps coming from the hallway, and the strange part, the notebook started writing by itself. The new sentence appeared in front of me. "Ahmed runs, but forgets the door won't open because the story isn't over yet." I ran, and yes, the door wouldn't open. The ending. I reached the last page of the notebook and it looked blank, but suddenly a sentence appeared in black ink. "If you've reached the end of this story, it means your turn has come to write the next page." And then the pen on the desk moved on its own and began to write your name. Warning to whoever reads this: if this story reached you and your name isn't in it yet, you're safe for now. But if you ever find a black notebook in a strange place, don't open it, because the next page might be about you, the page that writes itself. Sequel to The Last Line in the Notebook, it starts again. After the pen wrote my name and I read, "Ahmed wrote the next page with your name." I threw the notebook and ran out of the room. But here's the strange part. Every door in the apartment was locked, even the front door. And every time I came back to the study, the notebook had moved to a different spot. The scariest thing, every time I looked at it, new events were appearing about other people and about me, and things that hadn't happened yet. Something comes out of the pages. One night I read a line. Ahmed hears a sound coming from the closet, and right then, the closet door slowly opened, and a long, dark, non-human hand came out of it. I ran like hell. When I returned, I looked at the notebook. That same hand was drawn inside it, with every detail, even the ring on its finger. From that moment on, I started to feel I wasn't alone anymore. Something was living between the lines. Trying to understand, I took the notebook to a professor at the university, an old man who specialized in ancient manuscripts. As soon as he saw it, his face turned pale. He asked, terrified, "Did you open it?" I nodded. "Yes," he said. "This isn't an ordinary book. It's what we call a linked consciousness text. Whoever reads it becomes part of the text, and whoever finishes it disappears from reality and becomes a word." I asked, trembling, "So I'm going to die?" He said, "No, something worse. You'll stay alive, but only as a story." The blood writes. I returned home and found the notebook open on a page that said, "Tonight, Ahmed will write the ending." I decided to burn it, but the moment I got close to it, my hand started to bleed without reason, and the blood dripped onto the page. Each drop turned into letters. In seconds, a new sentence formed in blood. "You won't write the ending, we'll finish you." The call. The next day, I got a call from an unknown number. I answered. An old man's voice, deep and strange, like underwater, said, "If you want to survive, you need to let someone else read it. They don't have to finish it, just open it. If you don't, you'll become yourself in every copy of the notebook, living the same ending forever." A dangerous idea. I had a crazy idea. I took pictures of the first 2 pages and sent them to my friend Sif on WhatsApp. "Bro, check. This horror story vibes." He replied, "Looks sick, man. I love this kind of stuff." 10 minutes later, he called me shaking. "Ahmed, something in my mirror is whispering my name. And there's a notebook on my desk, just like the one in the picture. What did you do?" I hung up, looked back at my notebook, and the last page had changed. It now read, "Sif opened the notebooks and Ahmed was free." The open ending. I got out. But the real question is, was it really me who escaped, or the thing that wrote itself inside me? And if you're reading this right now, if you feel a cold presence near you, do not open any black notebook, because the next page might be yours. The ones who write the story from the last line in the notebook series, the call from the other side, after everything that happened. I tried to forget. I said, "That's it. I'm free." Sif opened the notebook. Not me anymore. But something weird started happening. I started seeing his nightmares, the same voices, the same mirror whispers, like his dreams were leaking into mine. One night at exactly 2:30 a.m. my phone rang. It was Sif, but the voice wasn't human. It whispered, "You're not free, Ahmed. You just changed roles. Now we're both writers of each other's story." Then the call dropped. A new notebook. Same curse. The next day, I found an envelope at my door. Inside it, a brand new notebook. Clean cover, no title, but inside, the first page said, "This is Sif's notebook. Read it and you'll see what he saw. But remember, someone else must open it next." I flipped through the pages. Weird drawings, strange symbols, sentences in languages I didn't recognize. But then, a drawing of my face. But the eyes weren't mine. And behind me, Sif, holding a pen, writing on my back, voices between the lines. One line read, "Sif hears a voice rising from the floor, whispering his name." And then I heard it too, a faint whisper. Same voice, same tone. "Ahmed, Ahmed." I took a picture of the page with my phone, but when I looked at the photo, the words were missing. Instead, a face was drawn inside the paper, staring at me. Sif tries to escape. Sif sent me a voice note. "Ahmed, I tried to tear the notebook. It burned. I ripped the pages. They came back. I tried writing with a new pen. It broke. It's like something's protecting it from me." More voice notes followed, and then one final note. It was Sif's voice, but the laugh wasn't his. "I'm not alone in the notebook anymore. One more line and we're going to write you in again." The final page. I opened my original notebook. A new page had appeared. Ahmed has read too many notebooks, but he never asked who's writing them. Below that, A signature, unreadable. One word under it, us. The open ending. I don't know if I'm still human or just a written character in someone else's story. But I know one thing. Every time someone reads this, they continue the story without realizing. And you, if you made it to this line, close the page, don't look under your pillow. You might find a notebook there, and it won't be yours. But the page after that is waiting. The realm of the written darkness, from the last line in the notebook series, when paper becomes a door. My name is Ahmed, but now I'm not sure if I really exist, or if I'm just a thought written by someone else. I woke up one day, inside a blank page, not in bed, not in my room, just a white space. Behind me, I could hear sentences forming as I walked. A whisper echoed around me. Welcome to the written darkness, where every reader becomes part of the story. The main notebook. A desk appeared before me. On it, a notebook, grey, no title, no name. As I touched it, the lines inside began turning into moving film strips. I saw everything that happened since day one, but from a strange angle. Someone was watching me. At the end of the strip, I saw myself standing in front of a mirror, but the reflection, it wasn't me, it moved before I did. The true author. I used to think we were just victims of cursed books, but no, there's something else, something bigger, something called the author. It's not a person, not a demon. It's a consciousness that writes every story to live inside them. It feeds on readers' imagination. Every time you engage with a line, it becomes stronger. And Sif, he's not just reading now, he's writing too. The encounter with Sif, I found Sif in an endless hallway, sitting, scribbling madly. I asked him, "Do you even know what you're writing?" He replied, eyes wide, "The author is telling me what to write." He said, "If I write Ahmed's name, maybe I'll be free." I shouted, "I'm not a story." He looked up at me, voice shaking, "Neither am I. But now we're just sentences. Write me, or I'll finish writing you." The rebellion. Snatched the notebook from his hands. I tore out the page with my name on it. Sif screamed. He began to fade, like a drawing being erased. That's when the author spoke. A voice with no form, no direction. Those who erase must be written in their place. Ahmed. Welcome, new writer. The open ending now, I'm the one holding the pen, but I still don't know. Am I writing the story? Or is the story writing me? And you, yes, you reading this right now. If you ever open a notebook, or a writing app, or even a blank Google Doc, look at the first word carefully, because the next one might be your name. The writer's dilemma. Now, I'm the writer, or at least that's what I was told. But there's one question I can't answer. Am I writing, or is something inside me filling the pen and the pages? There's a page in the notebook that can never be erased. The original cursed page. The one with the very first name, where every curse began. Searching for the first page, I flipped through the pages, jotting notes in the margins, but the closer I got, the weirder things became. The ink erased itself, the paper heated up, the lines shifted every second, and then I found a blank page, but when I looked closely, I saw the name Adam carved at the bottom, not written, carved into the paper. The paper time rewind. I touched the page, and the world stopped. Everything around me turned into paper. The ground, the walls, even my voice, all became words. I found myself in an old room. There was someone there, looked like me, but wasn't me. He said softly, "I am Adam, the first to write in the notebook, the one who writes, controls, but also is trapped." I asked, "You mean you're imprisoned?" He said, "Every writer before you thought they could control it, but none of us made it out. You're just a line in a story someone else wrote." The twist. I looked around, a full library of notebooks, each with a name, each with a black dot, a mark that the writer became a victim. Before I could think of escaping, that same notebook appeared in front of me again. The last page flipped open by itself, and written in blood-red ink was, "If you've read this line, then you've completed the page, the one before you wrote. And now, you're the next page." Part 6. The final writer. I didn't know the time or place, or even who I was, but I heard a voice. Just one more line, and in front of me, a blank page. At the top, it said, "The final writer chooses the ending." Returned to the library, I came back to consciousness and found myself in an old library. Books whispered, notebooks breathed. Every shelf carried one title, "Those Who Tried to Escape," and me, my name, still unwritten, "The Last Encounter with Adam." In a dark corner, Adam sat on a broken chair, half idea, half being. He told me, "You're the only one who reached the last page. But before you write, listen. The original writer isn't one of us." I asked, "What do you mean?" He said, "There's a force above all, writing every story, but never finishing any. And Saif, he wasn't a victim. He was the beginning. The ending I chose." I brought the pen closer, looked at the page and wrote, "I won't write the ending, the reader will decide." And suddenly, everything disappeared. The epilogue. You are the next story. If you've reached this point, then you've read the last page, I wrote. Now, the book is in your hands. If your mind starts forming a new story, just know this. The first word on the next page is your name. Final warning. If one day you find a strange grey notebook with no title, don't open it, don't read it, don't continue, because the next line shows no mercy.